And let's just have a little moment to check in. So if it's comfortable to do so and safe to do so, just close your eyes. If it isn't, then you can do it with your eyes open. That's absolutely fine. And I just want you all just to have a moment where you just check in. Just kind of know you've arrived towards the end of your day anyway, and you've made the time to be here. So just notice how you're feeling right now. And when I say how are you feeling, what comes up for you? Is it a physical sensation in your body? Is it an emotional sensation? Is it an energetic kind of bit of feedback? How are you doing today in this moment? And just acknowledge that. Don't be cross at whatever comes up. Just acknowledge it. And just take a few breaths into whatever came up for you. Just be like, oh, hey, feedback of whatever it is. I'm just acknowledging you. I'm just accepting that you're there. And just start to take a few slow, long, quiet breaths. Just thinking about that kind of idea of creating width. We've been talking in my classes recently about this idea of being like a big, long plastic tube. And it's like you're filling the tube from the top to the bottom, front, sides, back, like this idea of getting wider and longer just from an in-breath. And then as you exhale, it's like the tube compresses, contracts, and shrinks back. I just want you to notice the space that you're able to create from your breath. How does it feel to do that for you? Notice where you might be meeting some restrictions. Maybe some parts of you don't feel so keen to expand. What do you need to allow to let that happen? It's not about doing anything, it's about allowing. And as you start noticing your breath, notice that it naturally deepens, widens anyway. It slows. Let it feel that it's coming back to a more natural place for you. And hopefully that is a deeper and slower place just from concentrating a little bit on it. And I just want you to come into a little roll down. Liz, feel free to just come down a little bit. We don't want to start you off getting dizzy, but for everyone else, just come into a roll down. It's not about doing the most perfect roll down. It's more just about moving through your spine and just noticing, how does it feel today? Where is the weight on your feet as you're doing this? Are you meeting any resistance in your tissues? And stay down, wherever down is for you. And think about that long, round plastic tube again. And whilst it's now a curved tube, could you still think about breathing in and really filling it up and trying to create as much space in that tube, even in this shape? And just have a couple of breaths, letting everything be easy and heavy. This is just very much about kind of waking the body up and just getting some awareness. And then on your next exhale, just have a sense of sending the feet down and seeing if that could just allow you to come up. So with the least amount of effort, how does that feel? And again, just taking one more of those. So could you use your exhale? Could you make this feel as easy and as delicious as possible? How is it to roll down? What is your body telling you right now? What is it feeding back? Where is the weight on your feet? Can you allow yourself to feel heavy and easy? Or maybe your body doesn't really want to do that right now, and just acknowledge that too if that's the case. Maybe it's feeding back and trying to give you a different story. And then sending down the feet to come all the way back up. And then from a standing place, how would it be just to send one arm overhead and then bringing it back down, and then the other arm? So really without too much thought, this is just a check-in. How is it to move my arms? What does it feel like? Does it feel easy? Do they feel equal side to side? Maybe you could do both hands. What does it feel like to do both hands? And then next time both arms are overhead, could you pause? And could you just think about getting the left arm, just having a sense that the left arm could reach a little bit higher. So you just start to pick up all of the left lateral side there. And then just think if you could breathe into it. And as you breathe into it, could you just do a little side bend? Just a sense of lengthening through that left side, breathing into it, and then coming back to center. And then lengthen up through the right side. Could it just lengthen up? Could you pick up the lateral tissue first? And then just a very, very small side bend. We're not warm yet, but then breathing into that right side. Having that same idea of being that tube again. One more time to each side. So you're a tube that's bending over to the side now. Could you still think about being as big and as wide in all directions? And how is that? And then coming all the way down. And just notice, okay, we just did a little check-in there. How does that feel? Who's just joined me? Is it... Oh, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. So obviously you need a foam roller. If you've got a pair of weights handy, great. But honestly, they're just more for extra. Let's come and lie down and let's have the roller across the mat. And you're going to put your head on it. Okay? That's it. So just kind of have the roller right where the skull and the neck meet. Trying to avoid any bobbles in your hair like I've got. I always put them in the wrong place for a foam roller class. Okay. And just allowing for a moment your head just to rest onto this. Maybe even that is giving you some feedback. Have your knees bent. It usually feels the most comfortable. I'm not against you being out long if that feels better for you, but have your knees bent and just see if you can maybe just have a moment letting your pelvis feel heavy, your ribs feeling heavy, your jaw feeling easy and loose, tongue wide across the back of the throat, eyes heavy. Just really feeling as relaxed and as comfortable as you can here before we begin. And then from here, I just want you to think about, you're going to gently sort of drop the head down as if you're going to do a little nod and notice that the roller rolls away from you. And then have a sense that how would it be to pull the roller in towards you? So you kind of think about the back of the head moving the roller in towards you, which naturally lifts your chin. Now, the challenge with this is if you just kind of nod your chin, you kind of miss the point, okay? So I want you to focus on rolling the roller away from you and then drawing the roller back in. So kind of bring your awareness to the back of your head, moving the roller. It's just quite a subtle movement, but moving the roller. And just notice how that feels. And yes, it comes from a nod, but kind of less of a focus on that. Just notice how that feels for you. Is it tender in there? Which way feels easier to go to? So for me, and for most of us, if you've said you've been sat at a desk a lot, it's probably going to feel a bit easier to kind of drop the chin down because you'll have spent a lot of the day doing that. So don't force it the other way, but just be aware that you could start teasing that out a little bit, that you could encourage the tissues to move the other way without forcing anything. And then find somewhere in the center and take, even less than a quarter turn. It's a very subtle turn. Let's all go to the right. And you're going to feel that you're kind of on that little knobbly bit that you often hear me talking about, where the kind of the skull actually sits onto the neck. It's a little knobbly bit there. And you're going to do your little nods there. And this can often be quite tender. That's kind of why we're doing it. So go nice and easy. But again, make this less about a nod and more about this feeling of moving the roller. Keep the tongue heavy, the jaw loose, the chest heavy, the breath flowing. Notice whatever you're noticing. Maybe you're not picking up anything here. You're like, Nick, why are we doing this? And again, just notice, does the range increase as you give it some time? So remember that tissue can only give from a place of relaxation. So you never want to force this kind of thing. And any of the rolling stuff we're going to do tonight, you don't want to force it because the tissue is not going to give. You have to feel relaxed. So if you need to adjust to make yourself feel more relaxed, then do that. Come to center and then roll yourself over to the other side. And you're going to do the same thing, just finding the spot. It's going to be a little different for everyone. I'm definitely feeling far more tender on this side. So maybe you're noticing that there's one side that's a little different to the other. And again, just allowing there to be a little bit of time to kind of encourage the tissue just to tease itself out, almost like the fibers can start sliding apart as everything just starts to soften and give. And then coming back to center. And then just doing a few in center and just notice, is the feedback any different now through the center? Is there any more range available than there might have been a few moments ago? Okay. We're going to now just bring the roller underneath our shoulder blades, okay? So it's just going to be just underneath the tip of the shoulder blades. And then I want you to interlace your fingers and take the hands behind the head. Really feel like the head is being kind of supported by the hands. So feel like your elbows are kind of just in your peripheral vision, but they feel like they're pulling forwards a bit. So there's a little bit of kind of torsion in the arms, a little bit of feeling that the arms are pulling forward so that the head can really push back into the hands and really help release the neck. And then just really start to allow the head to feel super heavy in the hands, and just notice how that could then start to let the head move back in space. And you're going to notice that the front of your body just starts to lengthen. It's not going to be very big to start with, so don't go too quickly, too soon. Maybe you're just breathing into the front of you. Maybe your elbows might start to open apart a little bit as you could allow your collarbones to feel a little wider. And again, just keep the breath flowing, the jaw loose, tongue heavy. Notice how you've just lengthened the front of the body. And gravity could be your friend here, and it could just continue to want to pay out. Give it time, let it be easy. And then when you feel like, yeah, do you know, that kind of feels like I've got enough there, could you use your exhale just to allow yourself to come up, almost like all the tissue at the front of you just gathers back up again to bring you up into like a supported chest lift. That's it. And now inhale, and just as you go back over the roller, widen and open the elbows. Chest just starts to open and expand. You're thinking about the elbows getting wider. And kind of resist the urge to just send the ribs up. You want to instead think it's less about the bones and more about all of your tissue giving and opening. So it's like your head is moving away from your pelvis. Your ribs are staying heavy. And you're just breathing and noticing where you might be meeting some restrictions, and just take your time. And then as you come up, get a sense that actually the back of you is getting longer to come all the way back up. Yeah, nice, guys. And then another couple of times here, just noticing, is there a little bit more slack every time you go? And then really focus on the back, feeling longer on the way up. Now, next time you're over the roller, just pause for me. That's it. And then as you come up, we're going to come up and almost think about a little bit of a diagonal. So you're going to come up just like you did before, but now this time, as you start to come up, really feel like the left shoulder blade is reaching towards the left elbow a little bit more, and that's going to start to rotate you towards the right. It's not very big, it's quite subtle on the roller. You're going to feel like you're now heavier on the right side of your rib cage on the roller, and then come back through center to go back over again. Breathing here, really breathing into the armpits here as you go over, really create some space. And then as you exhale, the right shoulder blade is going to feel like it could slide round to the right elbow. That's going to rotate you to the left. You're going to now feel like you're heavier on the left side of you on the roller. Pelvis is staying nice and quiet, and then coming back and over. And you're going to keep going. So you're going to come up just in your own time with your own breath and find these little rotations. Giving everything a moment. Remember, the kind of slower you go, the more information the nervous system gets. Okay, so that's why it's good to start slow. And then you can start to feel like, okay, I could pick up the pace if that feels appropriate, or maybe it still feels really appropriate to go slow. We kind of just work on where your body's guiding you. Let's just do 2 more to each side. Hopefully everything is just starting to ease off a little bit. You might start to find with the last 2, you could go almost more in rotation, a little heavier on each side. It's going to pick up some new tissue on the roller, a little bit of feedback. But remember that idea that tissue only gives from a place of relaxation. So if this is too strong, then your body's going to fight it. So make sure you work kind of in a range that feels like if it's painful, it's definitely pain leaving the body, not kind of pain that your body is hating you for. And then when you've done a couple on each side, finish in the center for me. That's it. And then stand down into your feet. I want your pelvis to float up. And you're going to just roll. And you want to roll just on the rib cage. You don't want to go below the rib cage because you're going to kind of get on your kidneys. But you can kind of roll forwards and back, up and down the spine, noticing any sensations that you might be picking up. And then you can just almost think of a pelvic clock, like let your right side just drop down a wee bit. It's not very big. And then roll, and you're going to go over your right shoulder blade a bit more. This might be very tender. It is on me. Kind of acknowledge the pops and the clicks and the clunks that you might be feeling. And then what is it like to go over to the other side? Is it the same? Is your body carrying more on one side than the other? It might be. Kind of, you can go quite high. So you can go up quite near the neck, really, and then right down to the bottom of the rib cage. So don't kind of feel like you need to stay in the middle. And then just kind of play, like explore, where do you want to go? Kind of let your body guide you. Give yourself a little massage here. Where do you want to go? So slide your pelvis around like you've got permission just to play here. And maybe notice, oh yeah, like I am carrying some serious baggage here. Can I just find something? Good. And then let the pelvis come down. All right. Grab your roller. Let's bring it. We'll keep with the going across the mat, but you're going to bring it under your knees this time. And then you're going to lay yourself all the way down. And just before we even do the next bit, have a moment of just noticing, how does that feel? So we've really looked to massage from the kind of spine all the way up through the neck. Okay, lift your bum up, bring the roller under the sacrum, hands on the outside of the roller, and then you can bring one leg up, second leg up. And you're definitely going to feel the pelvis rolling back a little bit here. If you kind of try to stay too much in neutral, you're actually going to be in extension. So kind of really feel like your pelvis could roll back a little bit here, so that it should feel nice and nestled, so you've got some security here. And the hands are really just to stop the roller rolling away from you. Bring your knees and ankles together. If you're feeling super grippy on your hips, then just drop the feet down. I don't mind. It's not about having a perfect 1990 here. And we're going to do a little bit of side to side. But again, if you just kind of wang your leg side to side, you often miss the point. So I want you to feel almost like your left leg is so heavy, it starts to push your right leg to one side. And then really feel the weight of the left leg so that you can just start to go over to one side on your sacrum. And then as you come back up to center, really feel the weight of the legs back into the pelvis, back into the roller. And then let the right leg be so heavy, so it's almost a feeling of falling, that you can massage. And again, you might want to position yourself. I'm kind of going, oh, my roller really wants to be somewhere else. And you might pick up some tenderness. So I'm kind of already aware that I've got some imbalances in my pelvis post-baby, but as soon as I roll over to the left, I can really feel a bit of feedback there, and it kind of going, okay, that tissue is maybe under a different load on that side than the other side. So if that's you, if you're noticing something different, then just acknowledge that. The trick with this is to be as relaxed as possible. So really let the legs be heavy. This is far more about the sacrum having a massage. That's it. And when you're here, really let the chest be heavy, the jaw be heavy, your breath just flowing. Now, come back into kind of a 90-90, back in parallel, so there's a gap between the legs. Bring your left foot onto your right knee, and just have a sense of the right knee coming in towards you and the left knee going away. So if you can do that without holding, you can, great, that's kind of good. But sometimes I know people like to kind of push the left knee out. I actually don't. I feel like I get a little bit more in towards it. And you want the right leg to kind of be the weight here. So feel like the right leg is kind of falling in towards you and the left knee is pushing away from you, so that you might pick up a bit of a glute stretch on that left side, okay? And again, just have a sense that your tailbone is trying to reach long. So you're kind of thinking about lengthening your tailbone, almost just an idea of it. You don't even really need to move anything. But notice how that might give you a little bit of different feedback, a sense of your tailbone going away from you. And then from here, could you just play with a side to side? Just keep it pretty small, but just notice, can you still keep the weight of the right leg falling in towards you though, as you go side to side? Have that right leg bent, because it's going to give you a little bit more weight into you. Yes, have that knee bent. Yeah, there we go, guys. Good. And just rocking side to side. Nice. And then finding center. See if that right leg could be a little bit heavier. The tailbone could be a little bit longer. The left knee could feel like it's reaching out a little bit more. So you kind of got all these different kind of lines of pull happening, so that your tissues just have a moment to kind of pay out. So just see if they could yawn open for you. And I want you to feel, hopefully, this as much in kind of the left sitting bone feeling like it's reaching longer as kind of the glute. So really feel like that left sitting bone could kind of try and reach over the end of the roller. Good job. Okay, back to center. Let's do the other side. Right ankle onto left knee. Really allow that left thigh bone now to be heavy. So like the left knee starts to fall in, but you want to feel like you can just angle the right knee so it wants to push away. Notice if you pick up anything. Can you think about lengthening your right sitting bone away? Even your tailbone feels a little bit longer through here. Chest keeps feeling like it's dropping down. And then let's do a little bit of side to side. So just rocking side to side. Nice. Keeping a sense of the heaviness of the left neck, even with the side to side. And then as you come to center now, is there a little bit more? Maybe you could do a nice, lovely long exhale and just get a sense that the tailbone could lengthen more. Maybe it's the sitting bone for you that feels like it's lengthening. Maybe it is the glute. Could you allow the left leg just to feel a little heavier? The right knee to feel like it's moving away from you. So kind of noticing this opposition. And then bring both legs back in. All right. Just have a little circle. So just kind of do some little opposite circles here. Give the hips a little bit of a massage just to Release any tension that might have crept into the hip flexors. And then we're going to extend the legs up nice and long. Reposition yourself as necessary. Okay, and then from here, beautiful guys, I want you to just lengthen one leg away. And don't just think about dropping it, really think about reaching it like you're drawing an arc, like you're trying to paint. If you had paint on the end of your toes, you're painting a big arc. And then here, just pause from here and notice the opposition of the legs. Notice the energy, one leg reaching up one way, one leg reaching away, long toes. Bring the leg all the way back up, and then let the other leg reach away. And notice that the leg that's reached away, your abdominals have also had to lengthen on that side. And on the leg that's coming up, your extensor system, so the back of you's had to lengthen. So as you switch, could you start to notice lengthening of abdominals, but the other side is lengthening on the back of me, on the extensor system. So you can really get a sense of where you're encouraging the tissues to give and that you're allowing it to happen. So there's no holding patterns. Good. And then you can kind of turn it into a little bit of a scissors, but don't lose that feeling. Chest still stays heavy. Jaw is loose. Okay, next time the leg is away from you, pause. Bend your knee as if you're trying to touch the ground. You may touch the ground if you can get there. And then swoop the leg in so the knee comes in. And as the knee comes in towards you, the other leg goes away. And then one leg extends up to the ceiling. And then you're back in that position where you can start to bend the knee. And you're going to get a lovely bit of hip extension here. And then you come in. So you're doing your bicycle. So again, take the time to kind of get the information into your system, to really extend and lengthen. And now the abdominals, the quads, all the way down to your foot, all that kind of frontline tissue is having to pay out. Exactly. And then the leg that's straightening, really encourage that to find some hamstring length all the way from the extensor system. Good job, everyone. Yeah. And then next time, both legs are up, pause. Okay, you're going to split the leg. So now you're going to think about one leg coming in towards you and one leg going away. That's it. And then you're going to do a circle. So the bottom leg's going to become the top leg becomes the bottom leg, and then come in. And then you split the other way and you go up and around, up and around. And if you can hear my mic, you'll hear one of my hips going, oh, I haven't done this in a while. So if that's you, if it doesn't hurt, don't worry. It just means that you need to get a little bit more fluid in there. And already mine stopped, actually. Just make sure your breath is still flowing. Your upper body is still super, super relaxed. Good. That's it. All right. Pause in the center. Send the legs a little bit away from you and come into a turnout. So the heels are together, toes are apart, but make sure it's coming from the hips. So there's external rotation through both legs. And then keeping the heels lovely and glued together, I want you to bend the knees, open out into a little diamond shape, but really work on the sense of the sitting bones, the sitting bones lengthening and opening, just like we found before singly. So you're really encouraging the pelvis to get wide at the bottom. Good. And then lengthening away. So again, really make this about this pelvis being lovely and wide and open. At the front and the back, there's a feel of opening through the front. Good. And then here. And lengthen. Good. Now, next time you're in, pause and just see from here, could you keep your thigh bones exactly where they are? And all you're doing is extending the knees to come out wide into a V. And then you're doing a little circle to come back into your long line. So you're going to bend into your little froggy. Sitting bones are wide, 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 wide. Pelvis is not really moving at all. And then you open out wide, letting all of the inner thighs just kind of pay out. And then a little circle to bring you back into that diagonal line. So coming in, exhale, open, circle round. Yeah, coming in and open, circle round. Good job, everyone. Two more. In, open, circle round, and in, open, circle round. All right. So from here, I feel like we could just kind of let the roller help us roll into a rollover. So let's see where we're all at with this. So you're going to have your hands on the outside of the roller. You've got the extra little bit of lift. And I want you to get a sense of the sitting bones kind of reaching and paying out towards the legs to kind of lengthen you. So let's just do this start with, don't even lift yet. So kind of the legs come over and you get this sense, use your hands, this sense of stroke through the back of you, like the sitting bones could literally lengthen all the way to the heels. And then you could think about that the back of you, so take yourself to kind of middle of your back and then swoop down and get a sense that that could all pay out, okay? So as you bring the legs back now to that diagonal, have that feeling, but let kind of a little bit of a momentum help you. So the back of you could pay out to take you over. That's it. Feet feel really heavy here. Chest feels heavy, but the sitting bones feel like they're lifting up, like someone's pulling them up to the ceiling. Good. And then from here, feel like you're leaving your feet where you are. And then on the exhale, start to soften down through the breastbone all the way until you come back, hit the roller, and then the legs go away from you. Very nice, everybody. So again, you're going to get that sense as the legs come over, really feel that what it's doing is it's picking up all that line of tissue. You've got your arms for a little bit of support here, but you don't want to collapse through the body. You want to be long. So really feel like someone's got hold of your sitting bones and they're literally pulling them up towards the ceiling. And then the legs feel super heavy over. I'm hitting my plant. Okay, take your nice breath in and then really feel that the breastbone is softening away from the feet. So it's like the pelvis is moving away from the feet. And then you're going to come up and over. Yeah. Next time you're over, pause. I'm going to move myself so I don't keep hitting the plant. Pause. And then I want you to split your feet, or your legs, should I say, so they're shoulder width apart. Flex the feet. And as you start to come down now, just notice maybe that you're getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch on the way down. And then do a little circle just like we did before to come back. Yeah, fab. And again, over. Length through the sides. Remember, you want to feel long through the sides and heavy through the feet. Split, flex, soften all the way down. Good. This time, you're going to split the legs before you go over. So you're going to go over with wide legs. Then you're going to bring the legs together. And then you're going to soften and come all the way down and over. Good. And again, split, over, together, and down. Okay. Pause when you're next down. You can absolutely just stick with this, but everyone's looking so good with it. Why don't we just try a little balance challenge, okay? So you're going to go over in your rollover, okay? Think about your feet being really nice and heavy now. Think about what we just did on the roller where we lengthened one leg away. So you're going to lengthen one leg away and have one leg feeling like it's coming in towards you, so you can have one leg up, one leg down. Good. And then bring that leg down. Feel the weight of that leg. So that's nice and heavy and grounding. And the other leg feels like it could just reach away, just like we found on the roller. And then coming back down. Let's just do that a couple more times. Only if this feels good for you. And then you could just have one little practice of, could both legs go up, 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 up. Really got to find the sides of the body here. And then controlling down. And then using your roller to come all the way down. One leg, two legs, slide the roller out. Have a little moment lying down, maybe legs long. How does that feel? And then in a moment, I want you to have your weights if you've got them, and you're going to come and lie on the roller. So make sure that your pelvis and your head are on the roller. And just have a moment lying down, okay? So how would it be to breathe here? To just let our body feel heavy. Just to feel like the front of us can open out, can pay out. Almost like we're molding over the roller. Giving ourselves permission for our thigh bones to feel like they could fall into the hip sockets and the front of the body could open out wide. And then maybe here you could just do a little bit of pelvic clock, 6 and 9, back and forth. And just notice, okay, how does that feel? Doing quite a lot of movement through here already, so that should feel pretty nice. And then could you start to take it into a bridge? And when you're up in your bridge, could you really think about the collarbones feeling wide and the arms feeling heavy and the feet feeling grounded, all of the feet, especially the big toe, the ball of the big toe, that kind of inner thigh connection going down into the ground so that the pelvis can come up. Take a lovely big wide breath. Remember that big tube you had at the beginning of class. And then on your exhale, just really enjoying the return, the feedback from the roller against your spine. We've already mobilized a lot of this, so it should feel pretty okay. And then releasing down. When you get down, can you really find that feeling of the thigh bones plugging into the hips? And again, peeling up, really finding the feet. And then from this bridge position, could you float your arms up? And from there, could you think about your shoulder blades, moving your arms to send them overhead? And as you lengthen, just notice how you picking up all the tissue through the sides of the body. Really feel like you're lengthening out through your fingers, breathing into your sides, into your armpits, creating lots of length. And then staying up in your bridge, just doing a circle out and around with the arms like you're doing snow angels to bring the arms back down. And then when the arms come back down, could the body just come back down? Okay, if you've got weights, grab them, but you can just do it without, okay? So you're gonna start with your hands above your chest, okay? Palms facing in, and just getting a sense that literally the bones are just holding themselves up here so that really there is no effort. The body is super relaxed, the jaws relaxed, the chest relaxed. And I just want you to do little circles, little opposite circles, teeny tiny, like the size of a very small saucer. Just little circles. And then just feel like each circle could get a little bit wider. So the arms start to move apart from each other, but slowly. Okay, the slower the better. Almost a sense that the bones are just bouncing in the joints, that really there's nothing kind of tense, nothing holding. And you're just kind of allowing this little circle to move the arms apart, allowing the collarbones to feel wide. And then eventually you're going to get to the ground, but I want you to hover just above it. If you can. You can rest it down if it's too much, but if you can, above it. And breathe into the front of the body and really encourage the front of the tissue, like all around the collarbones, the chest, just to give, to be easy, to yield to the weight of the hands. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to bring the arms back slowly, but I want you to think about that this movement back comes from the back of the body. So it's a sense that, and if you've done hug a tree in the studio, it's a sense that the back of the body is getting wider, and that widening is sending the arms back. The slower, the better. If you get a big judder like I'm getting, then you know you're on the right kind of place. Notice the bits you desperately want to go really quick on. So really work. Any of you done the OOV classes with me? This is kind of the same idea. Chest is heavy. Arms come back up. As slow as can be. Very good, everybody. They don't come up in circles. They just come up straight. Yeah. I mean, you could bring it up in circles, but you're making it hard work for yourself. Okay, we're gonna do that one more time. So little circles to move the arms outwards, but take your time. Let them bounce and kind of just find the opening. Let the collarbones really pay out. All of you said you've been sat down all day, so let this tissue just find. It's not about forcing it, but just let it find it. If you can, pause with the arms just hovering off the ground. Encouraging the front of you to find some space, accepting that your body might be screaming at you a little bit here. And then find the back of the body. So get that sense, get that sense that you're going to hug a tree. There's a feeling that you don't bend the arms, but you feel like the back of you is getting wider, that the tissue is lengthening through the back of you, the back of your arms, through your shoulder blades. And as slowly as you can possibly manage, you're going to bring this back up. I'm hoping you've all got really light weights because you won't want much more than 1 kilo for this. Let the chest be heavy as you come back up. Yes, everyone, good. Okay. And then when you're up, pause. Find that sense of ease again if you can, that sense of literally the bones holding the arms up. Now, from here, as slowly as can be, you're going to send the arms overhead. Like the slower, the better. And think about the shoulder blades moving the arms. Keep the chest feeling heavy. And really getting a sense that the weights are actually giving feedback to the scapula, the shoulder blades, so that they can start to swing to move the arms. And again, you want to kind of find your range and see if you can just pause there. Maybe like me, you're picking up some resistance in your tissues, so just kind of breathe, don't fight it. Remember we said about tissue paying out from a place of ease. And whenever you find wherever it is, kind of resist the urge to lift your ribs. Can you pause there for a couple of breaths? And then as slowly as can be, you bring the arms back. Anyone else getting a good old shudder through the whole system? Maybe it's just me. This is when we're all in the studio together. I normally get some great little noises coming out of everybody. I'm hoping you're doing that at home. Good. Great, everyone. Nice, slow returns. Okay. Last little bit here before you all hate me forever. You're going to slowly, you don't need to do it in circles now, but just slowly just kind of open your, not too slowly, but just kind of open your arms out wide and pause, okay, when you're above the ground. And I want you to take your thumbs down to the ground so there's some internal rotation. And then I want you to draw some snow angels. So first you're going to go down towards your legs and slowly, slowly, slowly. As slow as you can manage. And then slowly back. And then you're going to start to allow the arms to come overhead. They're going to rotate, but you're going to try and keep the internal rotation, but eventually you won't be able to. And then you're going to start to have to turn the arms to send the thumbs facing down overhead. And then when you're there, slowly, slowly bring the arms back overhead, over your chest. And then bring the weights down. Have a little moment when you've done your little sequence in your own time, just laying here. So those of you who had weights, you'll have a bit more feedback than those of you who didn't. but the movement is still the same. So how is it just to let your arms be heavy here? What does your front of your body feel like here? Okay, roll off your roller, roll onto the ground. Have a moment that I think you all come to this class for, which is this, this moment, right? How does that feel? Maybe the legs want to be long. Roll onto your side when you feel like you've kind of checked in with that place for a moment. Have a little moment on your side. And then when you're ready, bring yourself up to sitting. But don't rush. Don't rush. Just kind of come up. How are we all doing after that? Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay. Let me do something to my hair. Plaits and foam roller classes never quite work together. All right. Your roller is going to be widthways again on your mat. Let me move my weights out of the way. Widthways again on your mat. And this time you're going to put it under your shins. And you're going to come and find a quadruped position with the roller under your shins. Okay, so I've kind of got my legs, they're not right underneath me. They're a little bit away from you. Can you see that? But let's think about all the kind of strategies of quadruped, the sense of the heels of the hands down into the ground. You're really still trying to find the curves of your spine, yeah? So you don't want to be kind of tucked under here. For most of us, I think there's a feeling of widening and opening the sitting bones so that we can actually find that lumbar curve a little bit. And then I want us to just feel like we roll the roller in. And as the roller comes in, there's a sense that the sitting bones and tailbone go long. So what this isn't is a roll in like this, okay? It's a feeling like the legs come in and the tailbone goes long. And then you roll out. And if you want to, you can roll all the way out into kind of a plank, okay? But you could just stay here. So you could roll in. If your shins are super tight, then you might be finding that this is a bit of a release. But this is a bit like some of the reformer work. So you want to feel knees come in, tailbone goes long, and then back out. And in. And out. Good. Now, any of you want to try it? One leg could go out long, and you could see, won't be maybe as big. Can you roll in and out with just one leg? Is the pelvis still staying level? Okay, it's a bit like the stomach, reverse abdominals, that's the word I'm thinking of. And then you could do the same on the other side. You definitely want to, as I said, if you're doing the one leg version, you really want to feel like the leg is reaching away and the leg becomes kind of an extension of that feeling of the tailbone going long. And you only want to do about 4 of these on each side. And then what you can do when you finish is you can roll all the way in and just have a little stretch back into being a little ball on here. Okay, nice, everyone. Come on off. Let's just pop the roller just to one side for a moment. And you're going to come and sit on your mat with your fingers kind of facing in this kind of position here. And have your feet in pretty close towards you. Yeah, exactly. And just kind of think of your position. So classically, this is the hand position. There is no reason why it couldn't be here or couldn't be here, but just kind of work on what feels good for you. I want you to kind of hopefully feel this sense of openness through the shoulders now, so that as you stand down into your feet and stand down into your hands that we've just been playing with, that your pelvis could come all the way up and you could come into a nice long line here. The gaze is forward, so you're not taking the head back. Your gaze is forwards. And then as you come down, really widen and open the sitting bones. So take your time to come down, widen and open the sitting bones. If you can, don't touch the ground. And then send the knees away from you to open up through the front of the body. Really stand down into the arms, find some lovely width through those collarbones. And then as you bring the body down, widen and open the sitting bones. Really feel almost like a spread eagle feeling if you've done this kind of thing on the equipment. And then up. Okay, nice. and widen and open. Good. So just go with what kind of level feels good for you guys. Nice. All right. Okay. Bring the bum down. Take the legs out long. Last little bit of release / work here is the roller is going to go under our, what are these called, guys? You know what I mean. My brain's given up on me. Calves, thank you, calves. Okay, and the hands are in the same position, okay? And then from here, you want to think about being a little bit rounded, almost like a standing roll down, a little bit, that kind of feeling. So that as you stand down into the hands, you come up, but you're quite round through the spine. And then you want to have the roller, kind of towards the top of the calves. And then from here, think about the ribs rolling back almost to make a deeper curve. And as you make a deeper curve, the roller's going to come in towards you, the bum's going to come underneath. And then you're going to roll away. So any of you've done tendon stretch or something like that on the reformer, this is it here. So exhale. Now, that's too much for you. You can just roll back and forth on your calves, okay? You can even kind of be on your elbows and just roll forwards and back this way, okay? But those of you kind of want the extra little bit of juice, kind of turn it into a tendon stretch and just kind of notice what your range is here. Nice. All right, come up, shake it all out. Last little bit, keeping the roller here. Widthways, you're going to come up to kneeling, up to a high kneeling. Okay, shake out the wrists a little bit if they're a little bit tight. Maybe we could just kind of do our wax on, wax off for a moment, just stretching them out. Okay, we're going to just finish with some really nice space in the body. So let's think about a standing roll down, but we're going to do it kneeling. So let's think about our high kneeling position, thinking about the shins going down into the mat, the pelvis being over the knees, the ribs being over the pelvis, head beautifully just buoyant and balanced on top. Should feel lovely and open through the front of the body now. Take a lovely breath in and then just take the gaze down. Feel the back of the neck open. Remember what it was at the beginning of the class where we found all that lovely length there. And then let the head feel heavy and just feel like the body just starts to pay out. The tissue just starts to give, to roll down. Don't really worry about where the roller is yet. Just think about the ribs going back up and under your heart, the back of you getting lovely and long. The easier and more relaxed you can be on this, the better. Then you're going to find the roller. And I want you to start to roll out with the roller until the roller comes to your mid forearms, and then can you widen and open the sitting bones here? So really think about kind of sticking your bum out, widening and opening the sitting bones, tailbone reaching long. You're just resting on your arms. You've got lovely length all the way through the side of the body. Breathing into that big tube kind of feeling we had at the beginning of class. And then to bring yourself back, I want you to have a sense that your pubic bone is pulling up towards your belly button. That's going to start to round your lower back. And then kind of delay the roller coming in so that you really have to ask all of the tissue to pay out. Your deepest core has to work. And then you can roll all the way back up. Nice. So the gaze comes down, back of the neck is beautiful and long. Head is heavy. Really get a sense that all of the back of you can just give a little slack. The ribs have got space to roll under the heart. You're able to keep the pelvis as best you can over the knees. You want to resist the urge of going back. And then when you find the roller, just roll it out. And then get a sense that as the roller goes away, there's a feeling the roller rolls and the sitting bones open in unison. It rolls, 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 and you kind of end up finding this kind of cat stretch position. Really spend some time here, widening and opening, finding all that lovely length, breathing into it. And then to bring yourself back, feel that pubic bone pulling up towards belly button. It's going to start to round the lower back. Resist the urge to go too quickly because you're going to, by slowing it down and kind of resisting the roller a little bit, you should, with a bit of luck, just start to pick up some juice. And come all the way back up. Nice, guys. Let's do one more of those. So just make this feel really yummy. as easy as can be. And just that sense of it's giving you so much. And really find that position. So you kind of want to work on where the roller is before you can really find that idea of this. The pelvis opens as the arms and the roller moves away. Yeah. And then when you're here, maybe take a moment to see, can my sitting bones get a little wider? Can my sides get a little longer? Can my armpits pay out a bit more? Could I breathe into the side of me to find a little bit more? Could I breathe into the base of my pelvis to give a little more? Could I encourage myself to be a little more over my knees, maybe, if I've gone back in space? And then enjoy this return. So really feel that pubic bone pulling up. The lower spine just starts to gently curve, and it's like you're being reeled in, and you start to really feel every little bit of tissue pays out. Let the head stay heavy. The breath just be soft. Coming all the way up. Take your roller to one side. Take one step in front of you. And then know that that's probably your dominant leg. So let's do the other one. Yeah, definitely was my dominant leg. Tuck the back toe under. See if you can be in both feet to stand up. And then come together. And then just find a place to stand. And just be here for a moment and notice where you're at. Maybe close the eyes down if you can, if that feels good for you. Maybe think about breathing into your tube again. How does it feel? What size is your tube now? Is it the same tube? Is it a different tube? If it's a plastic tube, is it as hard a plastic tube, or is the plastic softer? If you come into a little roll down, how does the roll down feel now? Where's the weight on your feet? What's your body noticing now? What's it picking up? As you come up, how does it feel? If you were to take both arms overhead, how does that feel? If you were to reach one arm longer and come into a little side bend, how does that feel? What does your curved plastic tube look like now? Come back up to center, other side, reach up. Is it easier to pick up the lateral tissue? Are you able to get into a bigger curve? Maybe not, maybe you're noticing something different. Can you breathe into that space? Come all the way up. With your arms overhead, turn the palms away from each other and then big reach. As you reach, let the collarbones be lovely and wide, the chest be lovely and wide that you've just created. And as you come into a standing posture, come into the body that you want, into the feeling that you want, into the posture and the kind of way of standing here that you want. Breathe into everything that you've just created. Thank yourself for coming here. Well done, guys, for coming. And just have a moment, just 10 seconds, just drinking in this feeling so that your body recognizes it and can take it with you. Thank you so much, guys. It's so lovely to work with you. I hope you've enjoyed that. I know some of that was quite strong. If you've got any questions, I'll hang on for a moment. If not, feel free to leave, and I will see you all again on Monday or Thursday next week.